it's a necessary thing that we have to discuss, and how much courage it takes to be somebody in the middle of a pandemic. It can't be understated how much anxiety it causes to be in the middle of a pandemic, and all the emotions of helplessness that could bring up so much fear when you don't really understand. Especially, I don't know if you guys are watching, of course, from other countries, and I'm so happy to hear when you are. But in the States, there was so much confusion. Like every week, what we were hearing was changing. And that also must have caused a horrendous amount of anxiety. The reason I am talking to you about this now is because of the two cards that are staring at me. And they speak of really just not being able to let go of anxiety or fear, having a struggle with it and battling with it now. And in the energy that we're heading into, there's huge breaks, there's huge releases. So that could come in the demonstration of a vocal outburst. It could come in the demonstration of an argument. It could come in the demonstration of revelation of facts. But it's coming, and it's here to help. I feel like there's this need to help you, for almost like the universe to come in and acknowledge just how terrifying things have been for you to honor the terror that you must have felt. And day to day, I know they're the ones that say, call me when you get home. They're the ones that will text you if you're 5 minutes late. Are you okay? They're the ones that basically keep track of where everybody is and if everybody is all right. And there's so much anxiety built up right now inside of you. And I think it's residual. It's just little itsy bitsy pieces that have been built up throughout this whole crazy ass year that really didn't make any sense. And where especially, but none of the data that was available in terms of research was even reliable. And so to feel so completely cut off from all those things that you rely on and pride yourself in, is a traumatic situation. And there's so much stress and anxiety built up that I think what's going to happen, and these two cards coming out for you, is a confrontation of that emotion, of that emotional buildup, so that you can get the assistance. Was all the worrying and all the stress worth it for all that time when it didn't come till this moment? And it's okay to be right about these things, but it's so self-destructive to allow it to get to you to the point where your life is being interfered with because of the level of anxiety that you're experiencing. And I think this is what you're confronting. This sense of, I can be intuitive and I can know the truth, but I also have to protect myself from letting it rip me apart. A time for healing, balsamic moon. This is a beautiful, cathartic time for you when you realize, I am so much better than my worries. I deserve so much more than my stress. And maybe, listen, I don't have to go out and be the world adventurer. Maybe you will. I don't know. But maybe I don't have to be. That's not the point. The point is, I deserve better. What I say? Peacock. First of all, you could be dealing with a Scorpio, because Scorpio is regenerative or resurrection energy, and that is Scorpio. It also means that you need to own your amazingness and your beauty. Rise up, raise your standards. Some of us may consider this to be arrogant or conceited, right? Nah, bullshit. This is about communications coming in, finally realizing what's wrong, getting on your own side and understanding, I just gotta like trust myself a little bit more and confront these issues, raising your standards and not lowering it or settling for what's in front of you, but instead going out there and getting what you actually want, owning your beauty, owning your potential, fierce as. And then we have letting go, learn to let go. Maybe there's something that you've been holding on to. Maybe there's something that you have had a problem adjusting to or adjusting without. Okay, but now it's almost like you realize the reason why it was being taken out of my life is because it wasn't meant to be in my life, because it wasn't up to my standards. It wasn't, it may have been up to your standards, but your standards weren't high enough. And this is you getting it. It's you understanding that this is what's going on. Maybe you can't really talk to this person. This person can't have a conversation on your level, or you don't really understand what they mean. Whatever it is, this is about being able to release, say what you need to say. Look at this bitch. She's opening her mouth. She's like, I got to say what I need to say. Shout it if you have to. But you're finally able to say what you need to say and raise your standards. Raise your standards of just the humans that you let in your life, I would say. Owl, follow your intuition. This is really deep energy and also very spiritual energy. There's a wisdom that you've gained recently. An owl usually represents Aquarius energy, so seeing things from a higher perspective, looking out for the greater good, realizing worth and value that has nothing to do with money, but looking out for the greater good. Follow your intuition. Express your sensuality. Oh. What's that about? Have you been repressed? Or has there been something that you needed to say and communicate about a repressed sensuality? About whatever is getting in your way, able to fully express the full magnitude of your personality, especially your sensual nature, it's coming out now, and you're going to be able to communicate it. So the communication that you're engaging in is not just verbal communication, it's physical communication. Bow chicka bow bow, damn, okay. Ooh, things are about to get hot. Isn't that funny how that happens when people get honest with each other? You know, you like, that's the kind of real nakedness, right? The truth. Travel and mountain. You're exploring places but it's also deciding to hope first, right? Deciding to look at the positive instead of the negative, because you could look at the negative. Third eye chakra, you already know something. You are intuition. Ooh, follow your intuition. You've already seen something. You got to explore it. That's what you're exploring. Even if you have to travel to get it, that's what you're exploring. Third eye chakra. Opening up and trusting your all-knowing. That part of you that, it's not tangible. It doesn't need to be tangible. But you've already seen this. You need to trust yourself, because that's what this is about. Third eye chakra is about, like, what do you see? What do you, like, what are the images that are coming to you? It's almost like you already know something's going to happen. This is unexpected help, or like weird advice that ends up being the best, like unexpected advice that just comes up randomly, like when you're on a walk and like a homeless man talks to you, or like you're on a bus and you have to overhear a conversation. It's like, pay attention to the background noise, because it's almost like maybe you need to turn the music down, because what you're not hearing is what's important. So you need to listen to it. And then you have, help. You're just going to get unexpected help. Help from low places. Help from people that you didn't even think you mattered to. But somebody who loves you. Somebody who clearly thinks you're worth it. Resolution to an issue that you were having with love. to something that was making you feel, especially if this is guilt. There's some sort of resolution that has to come, and you're going to be able to make your obligations in your life got in the way of your sun, which is your purpose and what it is that you really loved. And in that moon, it's going to really impact you. Huge emotions, expect them to come out. Also, expect to be hit really hard with some really sad truths at this time. The ways that you've denied your heart for 3D stability. It's gonna really hit you. Go with the flow, let things happen. Let yourself feel and honor these emotions. And please do not disrespect yourself by trying to not cry or to talk yourself out of feeling what you feel. Please honor these emotions because they deserve to be honored. That's really the way to handle this, because she's on a big fucking wave. And if you don't go along with waves, guess what? The waves win. If you do not honor these emotions, they will drown you, is what I'm saying. Leadership, set your goals. Something to do. This could be about obligations, leadership obligations. Leadership is on you. Look at, this is the sun. The sun is here. This is it. Leadership obligations. You could, you're just dealing with the impact of decisions you made to be a good leader, to be a good example, to do what you considered the right thing. And now it's just like this windfall of emotion of, well, how much did I give up to do that? Or how much, it's almost like, I'll say this, you're letting go of the reins a little bit because you want to, because you're tired of the same old. Being open to somebody else's perspective and learning through somebody else's perspective, that's going to lead you to a great deal of success. Somebody might have given you some really good advice. Take your really good advice and go with it. So why were you trapped in fear? That's the real powerhouse right now, is that you're suddenly aware of where your fear was coming from. You're suddenly aware of fear. You're suddenly aware of the decisions that you're making or you were tempted to make because of fear. And that it's almost like you're aware of why you were stuck in the same position you were. Suddenly you get what was happening. Patience, willing to plant the seeds and take things slowly this time, because you become aware of what led you to the hurt and suffering before, and destiny. So yeah, and this may be part of your confidence, is that you can feel that there's something good about this moment. You can feel that you don't have to overreact. You can feel that you can be calm, that you don't have to chase anything. You could take one step at a time and it's still going to be there. Look at your truth. This is something this is something that you have to love yourself enough to allow right now. This is definitely about desires, about what do you really want, right? And it could very well be that the formidable aspect in your life is that you don't know what you really want right now. And that's okay too. But that's even more reason why you got to let that wall fall so you can get a better view. Or you're just afraid that what you want, you're always going to be pulled back from. And that's what's scaring you. It could be feeling like leadership just never recognizes what you're doing or all the quality that you bring. Their ignorance is not your problem. What your focus has to be is being true to your, not only your love, what you love to do, but also being true to your courage, being true to your masterfulness. Don't dumb down your shine just because somebody's too stupid to see it, because that will start to teach you that will start you devaluing yourself, and that's not what you want. Yeah. You feel good about something, but you also feel scared about something. You're happy, but you're also ripped apart inside. It's a beautiful thing that's happening, but simultaneously it's very big, it's very momentous, and it changes the dynamic very close to home. So there's a conflict here, a conflict of maybe you're changing jobs after 20 years of working in the same place. Maybe you have just met somebody after many years of being single, and it's like you're excited, but you're also a little bit worried and scared. It's not that something's bad's happening. It's that something is good is happening, but there's a lot of old emotions coming up behind it, and you've had a lot of time for them to build. And therein lies the conflict. And then we have crown chakra, divine inspiration, receiving messages from the divine that will guide you and lead you through this period. Also enlightenment. You understand and you know that this is a wonderful period, a great time in your life. It's just a lot. It means you're trying to put on a brave face. It's like you're trying to be strong for somebody else. Right? You're trying to just be like, you're trying to be the solid ground for somebody else. That's what it makes me feel like. You're trying to be homestead for somebody else. And it's conflicting because of all these other nuances and emotions that are associated with this time for you. It's somebody that you actually really care about, and you wish that you had their full support. And they want to give you their full support, but it's a little bit stressful. They're not quite sure that this is the best. They hope for the best, but they're just have a heavy heart about what might happen. The possibilities for failure in whatever y'all are engaged with are very high right now. Well, you don't win without risk, and that's just the truth. And I'm really proud of you for getting in there and playing. And you're right. Now, this is the thing. When you take risks, how do you make sure that they become triumphs? Well, the one thing you can do always is remember your strength, and remember that you're not some like floatsy toatsy little you've made things work before. You'll make them work again. Love is what I'm talking about here. And what does that mean? It means that not everything is in your control. To love is to be vulnerable. It's to put your heart into somebody else's hands and take their heart into yours. You both have a heart, but you have each other's. It's an exchange. It's trust. It's vulnerable, but it's also very beautiful. So there is some sense of you're feeling love. Now, you may feel uncomfortable with it. You may want to run away from it. You may even be finding excuses or trying to find excuses to get away from it so that you don't get carried away or you're not left vulnerable. It could also be you putting your security in somebody else's hands, entering into a partnership with somebody. Or is this the first time that you've felt connection since you've had your heart broken? And this is a beautiful kind of like a statement of encouragement of you will heal. I will heal. But it tells me that you're still trying to heal from a shitty experience in the past. In whichever place you were broken or you were struggling, God's sending you healing, sending you opportunities to get better, to get well, to heal. Will you take them? You're not giving up where you once gave up. You're not backing down where you once backed down, where you once felt too nervous to speak. You're finding a way to speak. And the way is by owning your vulnerability, by honoring your vulnerability, by, giggling about it, laughing about it, but definitely not trying to hide it. It's like, as soon as you feel something, don't try to hide it, honor it, and share it and let people know it. It's like you found a way to be you out loud, and that's making all the difference. We all change at our own paces. And this is an energy of extreme transformation for you. It's an open-mindedness. It's an open-heartedness. It's taking something that normally you would have seen as insulting and thinking, no, this isn't an insult. This is actually constructive, and I'm going to do this. It's looking into something that will be healthier for you, better for you. It's owning your health and now I'm not just talking about your physical health, though that is included. I'm talking about your mental health, your spiritual health. It's deciding to believe again. This is about learning and and deciding to learn, going somewhere or using what we've learned, and really, I think, opening up to different facets in life that you, for some reason, have been shut down from. Now you're taking steps, and especially academic or intellectual steps, to understanding something that will contribute to your growth. It's the right time. You're ready. Oh, cheer up, live in the moment. Okay, nice. Relinquishing, in other words, relinquishing what you learned from the past and not putting too much pressure from the future, but instead thinking of right now. And that's ultimate freedom, isn't it, right? Because then what you can do is you can just enjoy learning or enjoy growing, enjoy trying something that you never tried before without the expectation of, well, something better come out of it. Or if I have to be here by the end of the year. No, this is just you making a decision that, no, I'm connecting with something that I love. I'm doing it because I love it. There's nothing that has to come out of it other than the next day of me doing it. Freedom from the necessity of success. You know, a lot of times we get put in these screw loopy, crazy mindset. Like, no, we're not going to give you those singing lessons. Or if we do, well, then you better sound like Judy Garland by the end of the first week, or else you got to stop. You see, if you tried it once and you can't do it, then it's not worth investing in. That kind of mindset was a very toxic mindset. And this moment and this energy would break that mindset. It would be like, I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I don't need validation, and I don't need feedback or payback. I just need to be right here, right now, enjoying everything that I do. And in that, you experience a tremendous amount of freedom as well as a tremendous amount of progress. How interesting, right? That progress is often made when the pressure valve is released. Food, indulgence, having a good time, celebrating life, living life to the fullest. There could be a bunch of gatherings around this time for you, getting together and just allowing yourself to enjoy. But almost it could very well be meeting new people or being drawn to people, allowing yourself to come together with people who want home-based things, as in gathering with friends or dining with good people, something like that. It's like, do I want the madhouse party? Live life to the fullest, in other words, may have changed for you. But now I'm ready to move on and progress. It could also be about finding a way to let somebody go, recognizing that you don't have to do as much for them, or that maybe the time with them is over. But it's definitely about becoming peaceful with this idea of somebody or you having to say sayonara, it's almost like you weren't ready yet. You were not ready to say goodbye. And now there's more of a peace around it. And then we have your home. Feeling relaxed, feeling safe, allowing things to be okay. It could very well be saying goodbye to a child who's grown. It could very well be dynamics within the family are shifting and changing. This is definitely just I've grown out of this. I've moved on. I'm comfortable where I am now, and whatever I was using as comfort for myself, I don't need it anymore. Some new idea is like, bam, smacking you in the head. It's like all of a sudden this big old breakthrough comes for you to fucking realize. It's like once you let the old go, you made room for the new. Surrender to the divine. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Beautiful energy and hopeful energy, which I think is really important in terms of maybe even the discomfort or something that you've struggled a great deal with. You and your loved ones are safe. Well, that's just it. That tells you right there. You're going to be fine. You're going to be good. So whatever, especially financially, I just heard this. It's almost like, especially if you have been worried about your finances, especially if you have been worried about, something's bugging you, could very well be your house itself. You could be worried about your mortgage. You could be worried about your rent. There's some sort of aspect here that was really challenging you in terms of feeling secure in your life, especially concerning finances and maybe even bad habits that somebody slipped into. And now there's that sense of relief that your hard work is paying off, and you just have to give it over to the divine, because things are going to be okay.